You can always count on people in Hollywood to do one thing, and that's belittle fans who are just disappointed that companies are putting out garbage products. And Masters of the Universe Revelation so far has been a pretty big disaster for Netflix. The show is finally out after months of waiting, and it's exactly what the rumors said that it was gonna be. All about Tila, a show without a strong male lead, and right now it is currently sitting at a 32% average audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And instead of Kevin Smith going into interviews just saying, yeah, people are upset, people are disappointed, and that's okay, he turned around and did the worst possible thing, which was belittle upset fans, mock us, and say grow the F up. I'm personally pretty disappointed that this is the future of the franchise, but Revelation is out and we can't change what already exists. They decided that this was the direction they wanted to take the franchise in, and a lot of people are really upset over it. But before we get into the topic at hand, if you do enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month. All of the links are in the description, and of course I do really appreciate all of the support. So I'm going to in a little while show off the Rotten Tomatoes audience score, but I really wanted to read this Variety article, at least some of it, a lot of it is filler content, and then I wanted to show off Kevin Smith's YouTube channel, because right now he is currently being ratioed on his recent live stream, which I think is hilarious. People are upset, people are voicing how upset they are, and he doesn't know how to react. He's trying to damage control, but he's doing it in the worst way possible. So the Variety article is titled, Kevin Smith made Netflix's Master of the Universe Revelation specifically to please He-Man fans, and some got mad anyway. People were expecting a show about He-Man, not a show with a He-Man appearance. That is why people are upset. People didn't want the Teela show. People like Teela. Yes, I like Teela. Everyone used to like Teela, but they changed the character and they just made her the focus of the story. And people just really wanted He-Man. I understand why people are upset. So it says Kevin Smith nearly turned down He-Man. Oh boy, that would have been great at this point. I mean, people had faith in Kevin Smith to do good by He-Man, and he didn't. So it says Rob David, Vice President of Content Creative at Mattel Television, rolled up to Smith's Hollywood Hills home. After Smith signed the NDA, David explained why he was there. He wanted Smith to help him make a Netflix series based on the 1980s animated kids show, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. By the way, a franchise that in the past Kevin Smith said that he didn't even like and he didn't have any love for. Scrolling down, it talks a little bit more about Clerks chasing Amy, and it says David, however, had a specific pitch for Smith. Mattel was already working with Netflix on a CG animated He-Man series that would reboot and update the property for a new generation of children. And the company was developing a live-action feature film adaptation that would also bring He-Man's world of Eternia into a 21st century cinematic context. Now, a lot of this article does really pat Kevin Smith on the back. They're trying to raise Kevin Smith's image up a little bit. They're basically just saying, oh, he's a great guy that's been in the industry forever. But it says, I know what a fan base reacts like when they don't get the thing they grew up watching, Kevin Smith. I yearn to watch the show I thought I was watching in my childhood. That's what I'm looking for here. The same show, but people can die. Can you do that? Smith said. And I was like, that's the only thing I can do. Honestly, if it had been anything else outside of that, if they were like, we want you to reinvent this for the modern age, that would have scared me off creatively because I'm not that inventive. They did completely remake it for the modern age. They made the female, the strong, independent woman, the lead, and didn't really focus on males at all. They literally cut out the strong male lead, but okay, I mean, I would say they reinvented that for the modern age in the SJWs of the world. It says, and also because I know what a fan base reacts like when they don't get the thing they grew up watching, you think I'm gonna be the fall guy for that? If I'm involved in a thing, it's going to be true to what it is. It's gonna be true to the franchise. A lot of people really didn't think Revelation was true to the franchise. You made a Masters of the Universe show and gave He-Man an appearance instead of him being the main character. And yet, a little more than 24 hours after the debut of Masters of the Universe Revelation on Netflix, and despite near universally glowing notices from critics, the show has been review bombed by users posting to Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. It is not a review bomb, people are just genuinely upset, and critics are Hollywood shills. They're afraid they're not going to get to see movies early. They're afraid of not getting exclusive interviews or new information. They're afraid of not being accepted into the industry. Fans have nothing to lose by giving something an honest review, and that's what they're doing. It's not being review bombed. People are just not impressed with the product you gave us. And apparently, Kevin Smith is taking all of the hate towards the show right now very personally because he had a complete meltdown during this interview. He said, I see people online go, hey man, they're getting rid of He-Man. Like, you really effing think Mattel Television, who hired me and paid me money, wants to do an effing Masters of the Universe show without He-Man? Grow the fuck up, man. Like, that blew my mind. Bunch of people being like, oh, I smell it. This is a bait and switch. He literally told people to grow the F up just because we're worried that this show was going to be bad. We were worried that this show was going to be a bait and switch. All of the marketing has He-Man on it. Everything on Netflix, all of Twitter, t-shirts, everything has He-Man on it, yet he is barely in the show. People have a right to be upset. You told us it was going to be about He-Man, it wasn't going to be the Tila show, yet all of those rumors were true. Of course, all of Hollywood is trying to damage control right now for Masters of the Universe and Kevin Smith, but I decided to go and check the Rotten Tomatoes score because I figured it would have updated. It has gone up by a couple of points when I made my previous video. It was at like 25%, but now it's at a 32%, so I decided to click it. I wanted to see if people were giving it good reviews, and the last review that was posted was a day ago. You are not going to convince me that right now people just stopped leaving reviews. You are not going to convince me that people just don't care about the show anymore. It just came out a couple of days ago. People were leaving a ton of reviews, and now suddenly there's no new reviews being posted. That seems really suspicious to me. I think that anyone with half of a brain can see just how suspicious this situation is, but there are a lot of 4 and 5 stars right at the top, but I did want to read some of like the 3 stars and the 2 stars. So somebody named Kevin said, I didn't completely hate it. The animation was beautiful and it was fun seeing old characters. I actually do agree with this. I think that the animation was gorgeous and I do like seeing old nostalgic characters, but it says the story is another subject altogether. Basically, most all of the male characters die, so Tila can throw a big hissy fit and yell at grieving parents because no one included her. They made her completely unlikable, and actual strong women should be offended by this selfish, narcissistic garbage character. I've never liked Kevin Smith, and this doesn't help his cause. I agree with that. Somebody said, I was so let down by this series that I made an account to leave a review. I don't understand what professional critics see that I don't. Somebody said, well, let's start with what was good. The animation is top notch. Again, Mark commented this. I completely agree. I think that the animation was great. Seriously, it's amazing, it says. Now let's go on to the rest. This should have been called He-Man and the Masters of Bait and Switch. Not only did He-Man have hardly anything to do with the story, they kill off or hide every male character in the story. This personally was really disappointing for me. I was excited to see the male characters. I was excited to see He-Man. And well, they were really nowhere to be found. There's not much else to say about it. Now, headed on over to the second page, there are a couple of 5 stars. Somebody said, Revelation is a masterpiece. So many emotions, great animation, but yes, there's a but. It is not a direct sequel to the original, no matter what Kevin Smith, Netflix, or Wikipedia says, but they still gave it a 5-star. Somebody else gave it a 5-star and said, as an 80s kid, I grew up with He-Man and the Masters. I wasn't a fan, but now I am. 40 years later, my introduction comes via Kevin Smith. An interesting take, incredible visuals, and a perfect voice cast. I do think that the voice cast for this show was absolutely fantastic. But somebody said, some seem to forget it's Masters of the Universe, not all just the He-Man show. I still think people had expectations because He-Man is literally on everything for the show. He's on the Netflix images, he's on the promotional images, he's on comics, he's on, merchandise. He is the focus in all of their marketing, and he's not really in the show. As you can see, people are just really upset right now over this show, and I wanted to head over to Kevin Smith's YouTube channel because he decided to do an interview with the voice actor for Orko, and they decided to sit and chat a little bit, and Kevin Smith said so many things that he genuinely shouldn't have that made people so upset, and his live stream is being ratioed. It has 3.2k likes to 12,000 downvotes, and the comments are filled with people who are rightfully upset. And I'm not going to show any footage here because I don't know if Kevin Smith will get so salty that he'll start striking down videos that show his stream, but he literally said that in this, yeah, there might be 5,000 to 10,000 people who dislike bomb the show, but Netflix has 200 million subscribers, so they don't really care about a few angry fans. That is such a disgusting thing to say, that fans' opinions don't matter because Netflix and I are still making money. I mean, how much can you hate fans? Seriously. I wanted to read a couple of the comments here. Somebody said, it's funny how he needs to defend his awesome show. I've never seen someone needing to defend something good. As somebody said, never saw a like to dislike ratio like that before. This like to dislike ratio is freaking hilarious. Somebody said, Kevin Smith, the negativity doesn't matter. Right, and Rian Johnson is getting a Star Wars trilogy. Primetime said, Kevin Smith, the negativity is irrelevant, so let's talk about that issue for a half hour. It's true. He said that, negativity and trolls and people who just hate the show don't really matter. Their opinions don't matter. Yet he talked about it for a half an hour during this live stream. If I was him, I would have went on this live stream and said, you know what? Fans are upset. I understand. You guys don't like the show. You're disappointed. That's okay. You're allowed to have your opinion. But instead, he decided to react in the worst freaking ways possible and just attack people and belittle us. This next comment is absolutely hilarious. Somebody said, Kevin Smith, what season 8 of Game of Thrones would look like in a human form? And it's so true. People had such high hopes for this series and for Kevin Smith because he said that he was going to stay true to the franchise, and it just ended up being a complete disaster. Somebody said, Masters of the Universe is about He-Man, not Teela. You Rian Johnson, both characters, congratulations. People are upset. I understand why. I'm personally really disappointed with this too. I just thought that this series could have so much going for it, but right now Kevin Smith is being ratioed on his channel. The reviews currently for Masters of the Universe Revelation aren't great anywhere. While yes, the critic scores are good, the audience scores are a disaster, and on Twitter, everyone's being ratioed as well. Kevin Smith is being ratioed, Masters of the Universe officials being ratioed, a lot of people are tweeting at Netflix, and I don't think that that's going to stop anytime soon. People are very passionate about this franchise, and when you lied for months about it, you're going to get backlash for months for it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.